is so great to always talk about it. So thank you, and hello to everyone who's attending this call. My name is Maria, and I'll start by introducing myself. And as you just heard, that I graduated from Vanderbilt University under the Fulbright program. I was part of their graduate program in economic development. Just a brief introduction about myself before I go on with my presentation. I graduated from IBA in Karachi in 2014. I did my bachelor's in business administration. And right after my graduation, I joined Shell Pakistan Limited as a management trainee. So I went right into the corporate sector. I worked there for 4 years in multiple roles, and I had a really, really good time there. But there was something that I wanted to do, and that was study economics. That was something that I always wanted to do. So I thought of applying for the Fulbright, and I got it, alhamdulillah, in my first try. I wanted to study economics, and Vanderbilt was one of the universities as part of my submission plan. I was really happy to get into it. My motivation behind doing a master's was, of course, because after doing a bachelor's in business administration, I thought that's a more generalized degree, and I wanted to specialize. Economics is it's like a dream field for me. I really wanted to do it, and I aspired to do a PhD in economics. So doing a master's was like a stepping stone for me. After finishing my Fulbright, my master's, I'm back in Pakistan. Since I was on a sabbatical from Shell, I have rejoined Shell Pakistan. So I'm working as the channel account manager for Karachi, which is a great position. And at the same time, I have also joined IBA, which is my alma mater, as a faculty member. So I'm actually teaching economics as a visiting faculty in IBA. So that is about me. I did mention about my motivation. I think what I wanted to do was exactly what I got when I was at Vanderbilt, because it is a program which is such a great mix of applied economics and academic economics. So someone like me who has a corporate sector experience, a very applied experience, and who wants to go into academics like a PhD, it was a really good combination. So I'm going to talk generally a bit about the Fulbright experience in general, because as I understand, some of you might be going for your studies this year, or they might be applying for a Fulbright later on. So I think Fulbright experience, the whole journey starts with, of course, you planning and gathering up that motivation to apply, because it's serious business. It's like you need put in a lot of effort in your application, particularly your statement of purpose, your reasons to apply. And I think for me, this was very strongly driven by the fact that I knew that the best experience in education, the best experience I can have with regards to my education in economics, higher studies in economics, will be in the US. I know that Fulbright is extremely competitive. I've had friends who went for Fulbright, and I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a try. I think with regards, if I were to give any advice to someone on applying for Fulbright, I would say that give it a lot of time. Don't start your application right at the end. Work for your GRE, because most good universities in the US would like to have a good GRE score. Obviously, it depends on a lot of other things. But work for your GRE, work for a good statement of purpose, which really, really shows your motivation and your passion to study the particular subject that you're looking at. And of course, there's a lot of other combination. I won't talk so much about the criteria of applying for Fulbright. That's not what the presentation is about. But generally, the entire journey from actually getting the Fulbright scholarship to your interview, then you get your submission plan, and then you finally get the university that you're going to. This takes about 1 year, and it's a year full of excitement and anticipation. And once you get to know your university, that's really where your journey sort of starts, where you start looking for places to live in the city that you'll be going to. What kind of stuff do you need to carry with yourself when you're going there? You start gathering a lot of information about your university. You start looking at the courses, you start looking at the professors. So that is really where the excitement excitement really builds up. That's usually during the time May to June. And then you eventually end up there, and that's start of an amazing, beautiful journey that you will have in the US. For me, this journey was at the Vanderbilt University. Vanderbilt University is one of very, very prestigious colleges in the US. It's located in Nashville, Tennessee, which is in the south of US. It's ranked number 14 in the national universities. That's overall the universities in the US. It has 10 schools and colleges, which are spread across a lot of areas. So we have humanities, music, engineering, the medical college. So and most of its programs are very top ranking in the country. So there's a Peabody College of Education, which is, I think, number 2 in, I'm not very sure of the ranking, but it's one of the top institutes for education, for the education programs. And there's an Owen Graduate School of Management for its MBA, School of Engineering, Law School, School of Medicine, School of Nursing. It is one of the best programs for its undergraduate school in Blair School of Music, and the Vanderbilt University Medical Center, which is called VUMC, is ranked one of the best in the nation. Some very interesting facts. This is something that I was very happy to see before I went there. That's number 4 most beautiful campus in the US, and it is definitely one of the most beautiful places that you can see. It's extremely green, extremely peaceful, right in the heart, right in the mid of the city of Nashville, but still has its own, sometimes you have some universities which are right in the middle of the city and they feel too urban and they don't look like a university, but this is a huge, huge, huge area right in the heart of the city. It is ranked number 1 on the best quality of life, and their students love these colleges. It's an index which is done by Princeton Review. And students very rightly say that the campus is a cross between classic college campus and a big city school. So like I said, it gives you a very good combination of being actually in the heart of the city and also being at a place that is typical university or college of the US. I just wanted to mention a bit about Nashville, which is the city where Vanderbilt University is located. I think Nashville is it's called the Music City of the US. And the reason is that it's the home of the country music. It is home of great singers like Taylor Swift, actors like Nicole Kidman. They actually lived there, and a lot of other places. A lot of other people associated with music are from Nashville. It's a city, you can see the amazing skyline and the famous Batman Tower in the picture that I particularly selected. So I think one of the best things about Vanderbilt University is that it's located in Nashville, which is an amazing city to be in. Coming specifically about GPAD, which stands for Graduate Program Economic Development. That's the economic program which falls in the School of College of Arts and Sciences in the Vanderbilt University. The degree's name is MA in Economics, and it's a STEM degree. STEM degree, for those of you who don't know, it's sort of a classification of a degree which is classified as a degree of science and mathematics and technology. So it's that part of the degree. The reason why that kind of degree, which has a lot of value in terms of the kind of placements people get, the kind of visa, doesn't apply so much to Fulbright, but for instance, people who have a STEM degree get a 3 years OPT compared to those with a non-STEM degree. It doesn't apply to Fulbright, but just in general, giving you an idea of the value and the significance of a STEM degree. The reason why this program is classified as STEM is because there's a lot of emphasis on mathematics. Economics is a lot about math. It's a lot about sort of using the mathematical models in economic theory. So this program focuses a lot on that. This is our entire class, the first year and the second year. And as you can see, probably it's a very diverse class. The 60 to 70% of the students are international students, where you have people from China, from India, from Pakistan, from Nepal, from Europe, from Latin America, Central America. So I think we have people from every continent, which makes it so beautiful, which makes it so refreshing, because this is a program which focuses on development. It's great to have people from a lot of developing countries, which gives you such a great perspective on what the key development issues in the world are. And as an economist, you should know that. The more aware you are of that, the more you learn. What is great about GPAD in particular, like most courses in the US and even in Pakistan, there's a combination of core courses, and then there's a combination of electives. Then there are economics electives, and some of those electives are focused on research, because if you're going for an economics degree, you're likely to have an inclination towards research. So there's specific courses which are called research seminars, and different research seminars are focused on different areas. So there would be, apologies. There would be some which are focused on public policy, some which are focused on microeconomic applications, some are focused on macroeconomic policy. So while you have the core courses, which are sort of give you an overall view, an overall understanding of various topics, these research seminars sort of further drill down and give you an idea of how research is actually done in these particular areas. There's one great thing about this program is a field research project. As part of the field research project, the entire class gets to travel abroad to a developing country and work on a real issue, work on various real issues in that particular country. In my cohort, we went to Chile, which is in South America, which is a developing country in South America. We spent an entire semester studying Chile as a case study of a developing country. And then we went to the country, went to the two main cities in the Chile, with actually working with the people on ground and understanding everything that we have learned in the theory and actually really applying it. So we spent 10 days, our entire spring break over there and working with the locals. There are the batch next of mine, the second years, they went to Costa Rica. Before us, they went to Peru. So they're usually different countries that are picked up, and on the basis of their economic, the application of the economics that we can do in those countries. So that is, I think, one of the highlights of the GPAD program. We have non-economics electives. That's another very great thing about GPAD, is that it gives you an opportunity to take up non-economic electives. And this is where the part comes where you can sort of tailor your program in a way that you want. So there are people who are interested in finance, there are people who are interested in gender, there are people who are interested in law, public health, because economics is a subject which gives you a framework which can apply to almost any other discipline. So you can have health economics, you have gender economics, you have financial economics, you have economics and law. So you can sort of take up these courses from other disciplines and tailor your degree according to that. One of the ways in which this is encouraged and this is structured is to give people an opportunity to get a certificate in that particular area. So for instance, my flatmate, she did a certificate in gender studies. So that basically means it's sort of like a major in economics and then a minor in another program. So that gives you the opportunity to sort of really get the most out of your program. There's this one other thing that I would want to add over here is that GPAD is a mix of applied and academic. So you would see programs in the US which are applied economics. So it's like MA in applied economics, which is very much focused on preparing you for the job market. Then there's some programs which are basically PhDs, which are completely academic. GPAD provides you really good combination. So if you're not sure whether you want to go ahead with a PhD, but you are kind of in between, this is a great program in that case, because it gives you the flavor of both. And a lot of people actually sometimes during the program either change their mind that they want to do a PhD, or they change their mind, no, they like the applied stuff more. So this is a great program. If you have not done an economics, not taken an economics degree before, but you want to and you want to explore the area, this program really gives you that flexibility. This is a picture from our visit to an indigenous tribe in Chile, in the city of Los Lagos. So this is where we actually go and meet the indigenous community and learn what kind of livelihood they have, and how the problems of urbanization and globalization affecting the indigenous communities, which is a big economic problem, even in countries like Pakistan. So this is a great experience when you actually go, you talk, you apply your research techniques, like you do focus groups, you do interviews. So you basically can actually have a very practical application of the economic models. um, Another part where I want to talk about what is great about GPAD, or what I benefited a lot from, is basically the GPAD forum and the alumni network. So one of the things about this program was that it gives you an opportunity to interact with a lot of professionals across the country and across the world also. So every month or so, we have people visiting our program, where visiting our campus, and basically asking us, talking to us about a particular economic project that they're working on, a research project they're working on, or a particular company they're working for, or a particular country they're working in, and talk about the economic dilemmas that they're facing, economic challenges they're facing, and how are they addressing it. A lot of these forum speakers are the alumni of Vanderbilt, who are now working in great places all across the world. This is a great opportunity where we just talk to them. We have happy hours with them. We go out on dinners with them, with these people, and we just talk to them. One of the things you will learn when you go to US, inshallah, is that networking is one of the best things, one of the most important things to do. The more connections you have, the more successful you're likely to get in your career, both in the US or back in Pakistan. A GPAD really gives you that opportunity to create networks and to build those connections. And that was one of the things that helped me a lot. So there are a lot of conferences, a lot of speaker series. You're open to attend any conference you want. One of the great other things is that for those who are aspiring to do a PhD, that you get to attend a lot of conferences which are led by PhD students. So you can get an idea of what a thesis looks like, or what a job market paper looks like. So it gives you that direction on how you should prepare yourself for that part. Like I mentioned, it's a very diverse class, and I think personally this is one of the things that I value the most, that I think I got to make friends with almost with so many different people. I have South Korean friends, I have Indian friends, I have European friends, I have American friends, of course. I think that is such a beautiful thing, and something that we sort of don't get to experience in Pakistan, right? Because it's not that culturally diverse. And so I think that's something that I'm really proud to say, that something which a lot of US universities offer, but particularly if I talk about my program, it really gives you that opportunity. Lastly, I would want to say that when you go abroad, when you're here, you don't value this so much, but when you go abroad, one thing that you value a lot is the staff, how welcoming the people over there are, because you're away from family. Your university becomes your home, and if you have very welcoming people, that really makes you feel grounded and makes you feel inclusive. One thing that I would mention is south part of the US is actually very famous for its hospitality, and for its sort of community links, which is kind of different from the people who are in the north. And that is something you will get to hear more when you are there. But I think it's very important when you're choosing universities, when you're looking for universities. Sometimes we become very rigid when you're just looking at the rankings. Sometimes the location and the people matter a lot. So I would say that one of the best things about my experience in Vanderbilt was it had such amazing people to be with. That makes your life a lot more fun and a lot easier. One thing that I want to talk about Vanderbilt as a whole, not just particularly GPAD. First of all, like I mentioned, it's in the heart of the city. So it's not in a secluded area. It's not far away. It's very, very much in the city. It's in the Midtown Nashville, to be specific, which is like it's like a 30-minute walk and a 10-15 minute drive from downtown. So it's very, very close to downtown. So that means there are a lot of activities to do within the campus also and off campus also. Nashville itself is a very happening city. So you would generally be involved in a lot of activities. You have a lot of community activities, a lot of events where you can just go and eat free food and just have fun with friends. So I think there's a lot of activities to do. It's a very, very happening place, which really helps you, because when you need a break from your studies, this really matters a lot. There's a lot of on-campus work opportunities. As Fulbright scholars specifically, you don't need to actually work for money because your tuition is being paid, but for generally just to learn as well, there are a lot of unpaid work opportunities as well. And I think that is something that we should make use of when you're there, because you get the opportunities to work as research assistants. I got the opportunity to work with one professor where I learned a lot in the research project. I also got an opportunity to work as a language consultant for non-native speakers. It's a great way of, because we're quite fluent in English in Pakistan there, but there are a lot of non-native speakers like Chinese and Koreans who are not very fluent in English. So you can sort of work with them and help them with that. So that's a great opportunity. Other than that, you have a lot of volunteer work. We would sometimes go and work for Habitat for Humanity in Nashville and help build houses for refugees. So great work opportunities like that. There are a lot of on-campus societies. Those of you who are into sports, people can act. There are a lot of sports opportunities over there. Then there are a lot of opportunities with regards to debating, with regards to business presentations, a lot of competitions you can take part. I personally was involved in an organization which is called Turner Family Center, which was an organization that works for impact projects, social impact, basically. I got an opportunity to attend sessions where we would talk about different impact opportunities that can be created. What are the challenges in actually creating social impact? How important is social impact in the whole picture? How is private sector involved? How is government involved? So really a lot of debate with a lot of interdisciplinary approach, which actually just opens up your mind about a lot of things. Over here, I'll share one great thing that happened with me when I was there, that because of my involvement in social impact and because of my involvement in such organizations in Vanderbilt University, I got an opportunity to intern at United Nations headquarters in New York for my summer. And that was an awesome opportunity because, of course, UN is such a huge organization. For economics graduates, it's a great place to work. I worked on a project for 2.5 months, which was related to impact investment. And to date, when I am giving any interview for a job, I actually just quote that project because that is so close to my heart. That I talk about it all the time. I put it on my CV and I'm always talking about the experience that I had in the United Nations. And I don't think I would have had that experience if I would not have had such opportunities at Vanderbilt. So I think this all sort of stays connected and you sort of experience the whole idea of actually going beyond the university. Okay, sorry, I just got distracted. Okay. Yes. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay. Sorry, So just one few more things before I open for question and answers. Like I mentioned earlier, to get into this program, it's not compulsory to have an economics background. You can have a degree in, let's say, business or finance or business administration like I had, but it is of course preferred. It gives you a lot of advantage in terms of your profile. um, Even if you don't have an economics background, they do the selectors, they do look at math courses. For any economics program in general, having some basic math courses in your undergraduate is actually very important. So I would strongly suggest to those who are looking out for an econ program to actually try to take math courses as much as they can in their undergraduate. So linear algebra, calculus, and some basic statistic courses are sort of a good have. The average GPA scores is 153 to 170, so it's not a minimum. There's no minimum score, because obviously GRE is one part, but of course having a good score on the quant section specifically has a lot of weight, adds a lot of weight to your profile. On average, you will find people in the class who have zero years of work experience. That is, they come for their masters right after their undergraduate, and there's some who have even 10 years of work experience. So I would say on average for my particular cohort, it would be 0 to 3 years. So for instance, I was among those people who had more work experience, and I had a 4-year work experience. So this is a program where having years of work experience is not the biggest it's not compulsory, or it's not something that will go against your application, to put it correctly. Like I mentioned, 60 to 70% international students. So as an international student, you actually have a lot of you have a good chance of being selected. But overall, Vanderbilt University in general has a quite selective it has a high it has a low acceptance rate, so on average of 9 to 10%. So it is actually a very competitive university, because obviously it's very highly ranked. But yeah, so I think if you kind of check on all those things, coupled with a great statement of purpose, good recommendations, then you stand a good chance for sure. Sorry, I'm having some problem in sharing my screen. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So I'm going to just talk about, like I mentioned earlier, that I came back from Pakistan, from the US to Pakistan, as every Fulbrighter does, and I joined Shell Pakistan again. Now I'm also teaching at IBA, and I do aspire to apply for my PhD after 1 more year. Unfortunately for my entire cohort, we graduated right at the time of the pandemic, when the pandemic was at its peak. So it won't be fair if I talk about how well we ended up being placed, because it's just been a hard time to find jobs. But if I just answer these questions very hypothetically, that if the pandemic would not have existed, how would have this degree helped us? I think, like I mentioned, did I get trained for a job? Absolutely. This program trains you for a job, and then trains you for your academic studies as well. So it's a great combination. Of course, how much you get trained, it depends a lot on your own learning and how much you make out of the entire experience. Did I learn enough to teach? Like I told you, I am actually teaching economics to undergraduates, and everything that I'm teaching is actually a lot of it is from what I learned in my university. So I do think that I have learned enough to actually pass on that knowledge, which is something that makes me feel great as a citizen of Pakistan, actually working towards the education. So that's definitely there. PhD application support, I can tell you that once you are working as a research assistant, or once you've done some great projects, some thesis papers with your professors, that adds a lot to your portfolio, that's a lot to your profile once you apply in future for PhD. Not only that, your interaction with your seniors, with the alumni who has gone into a PhD program helps you a lot, because they give you an idea of what the application should look like, what things you should look out for in a program, in a PhD program. So yes, absolutely. With regards to PhD application support, that is great. Market value, I personally am someone who doesn't believe a lot in studying from a great name and having a horrible time with the program, or I personally believe learning is a lot about how you take your course, how do you work with your professors, because you can have great teachers and a great university name, but you might just end up partying and not studying much, or not getting the most out of it. So I think market value is a lot about how do you use two things: one, how you learned, and then secondly, how you network. That is what is going to define how valuable your university degree is in your real life. So if I were to talk about myself, obviously coming back to Pakistan, I am very proud to say that I was a Vandy graduate, and I'm very at my degree, not only the name of Vandy, it's more about the fact that MA in economics and a STEM degree holds a lot of value, not only in terms of its name, but also in terms of the skills that it gives you. Become an expert in research, you learn a lot of programming tools, you learn a lot about econometric modeling, and you're able to put forward the kind of amazing work you've done and projects. So I think for me, that's what market value is. Like I said, I could not value the program in terms of how we ended up being placed in different countries, because in different organized structure sectors, because like I said, it was a very international program, so everyone ends up going back to their homes and doing great. So yeah, that's about it from my side. I hope it was useful, and I would welcome any questions there if there are any.